Hello. In this video, we are going to discuss the comprehension exercise given in the ICSE Specimen Paper 2019. So I'm going to start sharing my screen and we'll go on to the comprehension passage. And so this is what it is. So it's question number 4, and it says, read the following passage carefully and answer the questions that follow. And if we have a quick look, it's not such a long passage. All right. So what I would recommend is to read the passage first. Give it the first reading. Read it completely before looking at the questions so that you know what the passage is about. All right. Don't go on to the questions first and then try and look for answers in the passage. That is a very wrong approach. Read the text first and then look at the questions. So we're going to go through the text really quickly and I'm going to read it out. He would have gone on worrying and worrying in this way if an unexpected distraction had not arrived in the form of a heavily loaded car bumping over the grassy bank, dodging between the coconut trees and raising a cloud of dust in the narrow path before it came to a standstill in front of Mon Repos, the white bungalow that stood empty most of the year. It was the De Silvas, the family that came from Bombay to spend an occasional holiday in it and bring it suddenly to life for a few days. They had bought Mon Repos a year ago from the Vakils, who had been one of the first Bombay families to build holiday cottages on the Thul beach. But they had grown too old and frail to come often, and after the house had stood empty for several years, sold it to the De Silvas, who were young and energetic and seemed heartily to enjoy life on the beach. Whenever they came, life changed for the family and the little hut too. Immediately, there was a hubbub, all kinds of excitement, expectations, and of course, work to be done, employment to be had, and wages. Hari, Bela, and Kamal stood by their door under the frangipani tree, tense with excitement, watching and holding Pinto back as he barked at the unfamiliar sight of a car and stranger till his voice was quite hoarse. There was a commotion in the marshy creek that separated the hut from the house. Too, herons, egrets, kingfishers, and moorhens all flapping into the dense greenery of the pandanus, the casuarina, and the bindi trees for shelter. Do you think they have come here for good? Bela whispered. Huh, who would live here if he had a house in Bombay? Hari scoffed. But look how much luggage they've brought. It can't be just for a few days, Bela said. Okay, it's Bella here, it's Bela there. And it was true that an unbelievable number of boxes and bags and baskets were being taken out of the car, out of the boot, and off the luggage carrier so that anyone would have thought they had come to stay forever. So after reading the passage once, you know where it's been set, somewhere in Bombay. Vakils have been, two families have been mentioned, the Vakils and the De Silvas. It's about a white bungalow that was sold off to the De Silvas. And there were these people who had come from Bombay to the Thul beach. It was a cottage on the Thul beach. I'm just going through it really quickly just to understand what I've read. And so we see that the De Silvas had come with lots of luggage. And the people living nearby the bungalow, they were probably poor people because they waited to be given employment and wages from the De Silvas. And we have these three kids, probably Hari, Bela, and Kamal, with Pinto. Pinto barks, so Pinto is definitely a dog. And there was a lot of commotion when the De Silvas came. Even the birds, they just flapped away into the trees. And well, Bela thought that they had come there for good, that they had come there to live permanently, but Hari did not think so. But yeah, they had lots and lots of luggage. All right, so when we go to question number A, you'll be asked to write the meaning of the following words. So give the meaning of each of the following words as used in the passage, all right? So one word answers or short phrases will be accepted. So you could give synonyms of these words if you know them, but if you don't, remember that you have to get the meaning, extract the meaning from the context. All right, so how do we do that? For example, you have distraction. And if you know the meaning of distraction, good for you. But if you don't, you go to line 2. And here it is highlighted in bold. It says, he would have gone on worrying and worrying in this way if An unexpected distraction had not arrived in the form of a heavily loaded car bumping over the grassy bank. Now, this person, he would have gone worrying and worrying if this had not happened. Unexpected distraction. All right. So he was worrying and then something happened and then he didn't worry anymore. So distraction could be something like an interruption or a diversion, or where your attention is just, it goes to something else. So that's a distraction. You could say, well, if you don't know the right synonym for distraction, a diversion could be a synonym, but if you don't know it, you can just say a distraction is something that diverts your attention to something else, all right, or changes your focus, all right. So something that takes your attention away, or something that a distraction could also be positive in a way that it could take you away from your worries or take you away from the task at hand. In this case, it is definitely positive because he would have gone worrying and worrying if this distraction hadn't taken him away from his worries. So you could write that. Please don't write sentences, 2 sentences or 3 sentences to explain the meaning. You won't get points. Only short phrases will be accepted, remember. So you could just say diversion is something that takes your attention away or takes one's attention away. That's acceptable. Then we have frail. If you see in line number 10, but they had grown too old and frail. So these guys, the vakils, they had grown too old and frail, and so they had sold off their cottage to the De Silvas, who were young and energetic. Old and frail, young and energetic. Now you see that old and frail is just the opposite of young and energetic. So what could frail mean? I would say weak, physically weak, feeble, delicate, right? So these people were old and weak. Even if you write weak, you'll get points. That is the best synonym that you could write for frail, delicate and weak, all right? So you have to extract the meaning from the context. Read where this word is, read the lines where the word is, and read a little bit more so that you can understand what context this word has been placed in, and you could extract the meaning. Then we have the last word, commotion, in line 19. And here you see is that there was a commotion in the marshy creek that separated the hut from the house. And all these birds, they went flapping into the dense greenery of the trees. So what happened? This car, when it came in, there was kind of a commotion and all these birds flapped away and went into the trees. So what could be a commotion? A kind of a, so if you think about the birds, they were just, in this marshy creek, they were probably just there, herons and kingfishers, they look for food. They were probably just peacefully looking for food or just wading in the water in the marshes. And then suddenly this car comes and there's a commotion and they all flap away and they fly into the tree. So commotion could be a kind of a disturbance, okay, a rumpus or a tumult or like a confused movement, all right? So if you can explain that in a short phrase, good. So you could just say kind of a disturbance, a commotion, all right? So remember, the tip is when you write down the meaning of these words, you don't know the synonym, it's okay. You need to extract the meaning of these words by reading in the passage. That's why these words have been highlighted in the passage, so that you can extract the meaning from the context. Then you have answer the following questions. I'm not going to do all, but we'll do one. Answer the following questions briefly. And this is really important. It says, in your own words. Please remember, this is absolutely essential, because if you copy from the text, that's called lifting, and you will be penalized for it. You will lose points. You will not get full points. So do not copy from the passage. If you have no other option, well, something is always better than nothing. But remember to use your own words. So who were the vakils? And the next thing to remember is that check how many points have been allotted for these questions. So if you see 2 points, they're at least expecting 2 sentences from you, right? So who were the vakils? Now, if you have a look at the passage, what I remember about the vakils is they were the owners of this white bungalow, the Mon Repos, and they had sold it to the De Silvas. It was a family that came it was a family that came from Bombay. And the Vakils also came from Bombay. They were the first Bombay families to build holiday cottages on the Tull Beach. So you could write, well, Vakils were people who came from, this is the family Vakils. They hailed from Bombay, and they were the first people, at least the first people in Bombay, to build cottages, holiday cottages on the Tull Beach. And they also sold, when they you could say when they became old and weak, they sold their cottage to another family from Bombay, the De Silvas. They were probably too weak or old to look after the cottage. So write in your own words and pay attention to the marks allotted for the question. All right. Now, if you see number 3, who was Pinto? And that's just 1 point. So you're expected to write at least 1 sentence. Now, Pinto, if you see Pinto barked, so Pinto would be a dog. So you just say Pinto is a dog. Who was Pinto? Pinto was a dog. Pinto was the dog that belonged to these kids, Hari, Bela, and Kamal. They were holding Pinto back as he barked. Yeah, I wouldn't expect Pinto to be any other kind of animal. All right. Then let's do one more, the 5th one. From Hari's answer to Bela's question, what opinion does Hari have of Bombay? So Bela, what she said, do you think they have come here for good, to stay here? The De Silvas, they've come here to stay here forever. And look at Hari, what he says, huh? So this expression itself, huh, says, please give me a break. Of course not. Who would live here, if they had a house in Bombay? So what did he think of the place that he was living in? What opinion did he have of Bombay? He thought that people were really well-to-do in Bombay. They were rich. They had everything. And why would people who have everything come to the Tull Beach to live in a cottage on the Tull Beach, where you probably don't have so much as you would if you lived in Bombay? So you need to write this in your own words. Okay, and 2 points, so at least 2 elaborate sentences. Then the last question, this is precis writing, so exact writing. You've been given 50 words. In not more than 50 words, describe how the arrival of the De Silvas changed life for the family in the little hut. So arrival of the De Silvas, how it changed life for whom? For the family in the little hut. So Hari, Bela, Kamal, their family, how it changed, how the arrival. So what you need to do is, first of all, of course, this has to be in your, and this is 8 points. You need to make a rough draft. So in your rough draft, I would say that you just mark in your question paper and then just jot it down in your answer sheet. First, you have to make a rough draft. So first, in the passage, you see, what is the question asking you? So I would say from here, whenever they came, life changed for the family and the little hut too. Immediately, there was a hubbub of all kinds of excitement, expectations, and of course, work to be done, employment to be had, and wages. The rest of it is not so, it's not so important. These are the most important lines. But if you count these words, they're just 38 words. You have to write 50 words, which means you have to elaborate on this and write in your own words. This is pretty simple, because I remember years ago when I was in class 10, we had to write 100 words. And normally we had to fit in a lot in our answer. So it was like more like condensing the words. But here I see in this question, you have to elaborate. You're looking for more words. So this is kind of just the opposite of what we had. But anyway, if not good for you, I mean, you can elaborate. So first, make a rough draft, make sure that it is in correct grammar and spelling, include all the main points. I would include all the points here. Remember, do not copy from the passage. Don't copy from the passage. So you could write, whenever the De Silvas came to the bungalow on the Tull Beach, lots of things changed for the family in the little hut, for Hari, Bela, and Kamal, and the entire family. There was a lot of excitement, and I think the family in the hut, they expected to be given, work to do, and so they could earn wages. They were probably desperate for money because they wanted to earn something from the De Silva family. So this was a good opportunity for them to earn a little bit extra. Things like that. You could also mention this about the commotion. No, but you don't have to mention that. No, it just says, how does life change for the family in the little hut? Not about the birds. So you don't need to mention that. So once you've written your rough draft, then you just count the number of words. I would say 50 words. So make like 5 columns, and in each column, write down a word. So on one line, you have like 5 words, which means you have to write 10 lines, right? So 5 into 10, 50. You have to write 10 lines. So once in your rough draft, you have all the points written down, count the number of words, try and scrap off the extra words, rephrase your sentences, make them shorter. If you have too many words, if you have too little, then what you could do is, if you have fewer words than expected, then you could just see where you could elaborate, right? Okay, I would really like to see how you do your C, the precis writing in C. You can send me your answers via mail at dimplesclasses@gmail.com, dimplesclasses@gmail.com. And if you want feedback, I'll be very happy to give you feedback. I hope this has helped a bit. All the best, and I'm here to help should you need it.